friends, in this video, I will present about the key person who is behind so many innovations and discovery. In other words, I can say, what is the legacy of that person? We all know, but just to recall, what exactly legacy is? A lasting gift passed from one person or generation to another. That is a legacy, or I can say bequest. What are these legacies? Might be a large sum of money. Second, the impact left on the world. A great person, Albert Einstein, Galileo Galilei, Mahatma Gandhi. These are the legacy of the world. Third, endowment, funding, and scholarship. So many endowment lectures you listen, who receive the medal, they give the lecture after receiving the medal. That is a great legacy of someone whose name is on the medal. Fourth, really, that's wonderful for teachers, accumulated experience and wisdom of teaching and research. Once again, I will repeat, accumulated experience and wisdom of teaching and research. This is a great legacy for a teacher or a researcher. I would like to quote two names here. Father of chemistry, Antoine Lavoisier, who left a great legacy. Second name, Dmitry Mendeleev, still remembered by everybody. Father of Indian chemistry, Acharya P.C. Ray, he left a great legacy of researchers in India. Or might be a very big library, or might be a university which is funded by a person to teach a particular community. So, key person, who is that key person behind so many inventions and discovery, or I can say the cost of Alfred Nobel. The key person behind all innovation and discoveries, or bequest, he is Alfred Nobel. Friends, we are moving towards October. The first week of October, particularly from 3rd to 13th October, there will be declaration of Nobel Prize. A person who works a lot for science, inventions, peace, medicine, or in economic sciences. He looks very, eagerly for the month of October. So let us start. Alfred Nobel. He was born on 21st October 1833 in Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. But after 2 or 3 years of his birth, his father moved to St. Peter's, and obviously Alfred Nobel with his family left to St. Petersburg. Friends, after a few years, his father decided that Alfred Nobel should be an engineer, and he was sent to France for engineering studies. But that great chemist was much more interested than only engineering. He could not do engineering, but he took a lot of knowledge of chemistry from a private tutor, and many languages he learned himself. So I can say that key person is Alfred Nobel. And what is the bequest of Alfred? A great chemist, engineer, an inventor, and a great entrepreneur, a businessman, Nobel known for the invention of dynamite, blasting gelatin, ballistite, and smokeless powder. He invented so many explosives that his most of the money came from 355 patents he made till his death. I will talk about this picture. Actually, nitroglycerin was very well known at the time of Alfred, but commercial production was not so frequent. So Alfred decided to produce nitroglycerin. He produced nitroglycerin. We all know, very powerful explosive, and he sent from one place to another. Being in the liquid state, nitroglycerin was very, very difficult to handle, and many fatal accident was there. But then Alfred decided to mix nitroglycerin with a porous silica, which we call Kaiselgur. He mixed, and whenever dynamite is prepared, that is in this form. This is pick of the dynamite coming from the industry. Friend, I did say a great chemist, a great engineer, a great entrepreneur, or a great businessman. In 1895, he purchased Beaufort's iron and steel mill, which was already engaged to produce iron and steel, but he converted into an armament manufacturer. I did say Nobel amassed a fortune during his lifetime, most of it from 355 inventions, of which dynamite is the most famous. He set up 90 industries and laboratories in different countries. Friends, could you think? 90 industries, mostly of explosive, rather I should say of explosive, in 20 different countries. Although he lived in Paris, but much of his life he was constantly traveling, and Victor Hugo at one time described him as Europe's richest vagabond. He was bachelor, he was never married during his life. This is Alfred Nobel's laboratory in Beaufort, Sweden. Friends, he was having a lot of money, and I did say in 20 countries he was having 90 laboratories or industries. One fine day, he was reading the newspaper in Paris. And what was that day? When he was reading the newspaper with a cup of tea. What he read? He read his own obituary. You can think what sadful news for Alfred. He read his own obituary. And what was the obituary? That shocked Nobel a lot. Merchant of Death is dead. This title was given by a newspaper of Paris because he was dealing with the armament. He was dealing with the explosives. That's why the title was given, Merchant of Death is Dead. Friends, we should not forget that explosives are not only for destruction, but wherever you have angina pain, the first sublingual tablet, which is immediately given by the doctor for your safety, that is nitroglycerin. And if you have some severe problem and doctor feels before angiography, then he gives the injection of nitroglycerin. So this is not only destruction, lot of uses of dynamite in the construction we all see all around the world. But that statement of Paris newspaper shocked Alfred a lot. He thought that I have been declared dead even when I am alive. In fact, his brother was dead, Ludwig. But instead of Ludwig, his name was on the newspaper. Looking to this news, or by getting this shock, on 27th November 1895, Nobel signed his last will and testament and set aside the bulk of his estate to establish the Nobel Prizes to be awarded annually without distinction of nationality. On 10th December 1896, Alfred Nobel died in his villa in San Remo, Italy, from a cerebral hemorrhage at the age of 63. This is the history. How a great entrepreneur, of course he was bachelor, but he was having brother. Ludwig was dead before him, but he was two more brothers. Friends, Alfred Nobel left behind a legacy so profound and enduring that it stands beyond comparison in the annals of human story. So he prepared his will on 27th November 1895, and he was deceased in 1896. And he wrote in the will that the amount which I am having in the bank, by the interest of that amount, the annual prizes must be given. That time, the award was 24.8 crore. 2 or 3 years, there was a dispute. Whenever such a huge amount will be there will be dispute in the family. But ultimately, because that was in his will, the dispute was settled in 1900. In June 1900, it was decided 24.8 crore rupees in 1900 June. That will be kept in the Swedish bank, and whatever interest will come, that will be given in the form of awards. If I roughly calculate 24.8 crore in 1900, after 125 or 26 years, at least the amount will be more than 32,000. So, according to his will, what he wrote? He wrote the areas, but his main sentence, will was greatest benefit to humankind. A person who will work innovative, outstanding, but if that is not for benefit of human, no, that should not be considered for Nobel Prize. The award should be considered in the area which has made significant contribution to the benefit for humankind. And these 5 areas were physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, 1 field, 4th literature, 5 piece. So, in 5 area, according to the will of Alfred Nobel, it was decided the interest which will be from Swedish bank will be given benefit to humankind in the area of physics, chemistry, physiology or medicine, literature, peace. Friends, these 5 were Nobel Prizes started in 1901. But you must be thinking, 6th prize, which is given for economic sciences, that was not in the will of Alfred. Alfred never did say that prize should be given in economic sciences. He did say 5 fields: physics, chemistry, physiology, medicine, literature and peace. 6th prize for economic sciences, because as he was from Sweden, the central Sweden's bank, Sveriges bank, or I should say Sveriges bank, decided to award the prize for economic sciences also along with Nobel Prizes. But the entire money for the prize of economic sciences was given by Sweden's central bank. And the first prize in economic science was awarded in 1969. Friends, each recipient or laureate receives a gold medal, diploma, a sum of money which is decided by the Nobel Foundation. Nobel Foundation is there who decide what to do and what amount is given time to time. That time I did say 24.8 crore in 1900, June 1900. Now, according to money or according to time, I should say, for 2024, prize amount was worth 11 million Swedish kroner or 11 lakh 80,000 US dollar. If I convert to Indian currency, that is 10 point, roughly I can say 4 crore. So the award in one area, physics, chemistry, physiology, medicine, literature, peace and economics, every year the recipient get the award of 10.4 crore rupees. Okay, before coming to further points, this is beautiful pics of the function. Every year, I should say, the Nobel Prize is declared in the month of October. Rather, I should say precisely in the first fortnight of October, but that is always awarded on 10th December because that is death anniversary of Alfred Nobel. So this is the peak of 10th of December. Now where the awards are given, 5 prizes or awards, Nobel Prizes I should say, which were decided by Alfred. They are given Stockholm, which is capital of Sweden, physics, chemistry, physiology, medicine, literature and economics. These 5 prizes are awarded in Stockholm. But the 6 prizes, that is peace, economics prize, was established by Swedish Bank and was began from 1969. Peace award, it was in the will of Alfred. That 4 award, that time 5 award were there. 4 award will be given in Stockholm. But the 5th peace award, that will exclusively decided by the Parliament of Norway. And Norway Parliament constitute a committee for Peace Prize, and Peace Nobel Prize every year on 10th December is given on the capital of Norway, which is Oslo. Oh, second wonderful peak. There are some beautiful peaks looking you above central peak, that is from Sweden, Stockholm. In the central mid peak, that is from Oslo, capital of Norway. Look on the below three peaks. I think most beautiful peaks in the nature. God created such beautiful person which cannot have any replica in the history or coming history. I should not speak much more about everything is self-explanation. Yes, this is the trademark of the Nobel Foundation. One side you will find the picture of Alfred Nobel. This I have depicted some Swedish krona and kroner coins just to represent that award is from Sweden. Of course, might be given in the dollar. Friends, again I will repeat, it's important to remember that the Nobel Prize is awarded for discoveries and inventions, and those who receive it have made outstanding contribution to the humankind. Outstanding contribution to the humankind. Physics, chemistry, physiology, medicine, literature, peace, and economics. These are data I have updated up to 24 because it was 24 on 10th December. All the 6 prizes were awarded, and we are eagerly looking on the month of October after a few days, 10 days only. Today is 23rd, 10 days after the declaration of Nobel Prizes will begin. Friends, between 1901, I did say that was decided by Nobel Committee in 1900 June that now the awards must be given from 1901 in the field of physics, chemistry, physiology, medicine, literature, peace, and in 1969 in economics. Between 1901 and 2024, 1012 laureates and 30 organizations have been awarded the Nobel Prize. Of them, 93 are in economic sciences. Obviously, that was started in 1969. A small number of individuals and organizations have been honored more than once, which means that if I minus 5 individuals, 107 individuals and 28 organizations. Why 28 organizations? Because 2 organizations, they have received one 3 times and second 2 times. So in nutshell, I can say total 1012 laureates and 30 organizations, or 1007 individuals and 20 organizations have received Nobel Prize in total. This is a summary of all the prizes, 6 prizes. I will take the chemistry. From 1901 till 2024, 116 laureates have received the award. 116 awards have been given from 1901 to 2024. And how many laureates? 197 laureates have received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. This is the rule decided by committee that Nobel Prizes might be given to a single person, or may be shared by 2 persons, might be shared by the 3 persons. Looking how many nominations are there, and I should say in brief, the nominations are invited every year in the month of September. Suppose for 2026, they are invited in this September, and that will be finalized by committee 31st January. Then that will go to Nobel Prize committee. So I can say 197 laureates, and what was decided might be given to 1 laureate. 63 single person have received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. 2 persons have shared the Nobel Prize in Chemistry 25 times, and that prize has been shared by 3 persons 28 times. So I can say the Nobel Prize may be received by a single person, by 2 or 3. You will never find more than 3 persons in the history. If you have any example, kindly comment in the comment box. I am so confident that not a single example in which 4 persons received the Nobel Prize I don't have in my memory. Yeah, I did say out of 1027, 5 Nobel laureates received 2 times. It is very difficult to receive the Nobel Prize once. When I will come ahead, it will be proved by my slides and by my words. There are 5 great personalities, great genius of the world, greatest of the great genius, who received 2 times Nobel Prize. Madame Curie in the field of physics in 1903, along with her husband Pierre Curie and her PhD advisor Henry Becquerel. That was 1903. In 1901, Nobel Prize was started. In 1903, Marie Curie, a lady, received the Nobel Prize for radioactivity along with Pierre Curie and Henry Becquerel. Again, same lady in the field of chemistry. In 1911, she received the Nobel Prize in chemistry exclusively without sharing with anybody. In 1903, she shared with Pierre and Henry Becquerel, but 1911 was exclusive. John Bardeen, physics, 1956, second Nobel Prize in physics, 1972. A great personality. Linus Pauling, he has a very special person. Friends, I did say, Marie Curie received 1 exclusively in 1911, but 1 1903 in physics. Linus Pauling received Nobel Prize in chemistry in 1954 and peace in 1962. Both were exclusive without sharing with anybody. He is the only Nobel laureate in the history who received 2 Nobel Prize, and that's too without sharing with anybody, exclusive. A great credit. Chemistry 1954 and peace 1962. Come to Frederic Sanger, received 2 Nobel Prizes in chemistry, one in 1958 and other 1980. K. Sharpless, chemistry 2001 and chemistry 2022 for click chemistry and orthogonal chemistry. These are 5 persons. Remember, there is not a 6th person till today. I can't say in October 25 when the Nobel Prize will be declared for 2025 if somebody else comes. Till date, there are only 5 laureates who received 2 Nobel Prizes. You will not find a single more than 5 person who received 2 Nobel Prize. These are organization, International Committee on Red Cross and United Nations High Commission for Refugees. International Committee on Red Cross received the Nobel Prize, obviously in peace, 1917, 1944, 1963. United Nations High Commission for Refugees, Peace Award, 1954, 1981. I am a student of chemistry, so I'm not biased, but this is true. This is true, factual. Out of the 5 multiples, laureates, 4 are of chemistry. You see, Madame Curie received 1 in physics, 2nd in chemistry. John Bardeen, of course, received both the Nobel Prize in physics, but a great salute to him. Linus Pauling, 1 in physics, 1 in peace. Frederic Sanger, both in chemistry, and K. Sharpless, both in chemistry. Am I right or wrong? What a wonderful, out of 5, 4 are from chemistry. That's why I always say chemistry is the greatest of the great science, mother of all science, and with great excuse, nobody can deny and challenge it. How? Again, we are coming to a wonderful journey in the history of Nobel Prizes. I did say there are 5 persons who received Nobel Prize 2 times, but there are 6 married couples to receive Nobel Prize. You can think husband and wife both received the Nobel Prize. How much it is inspirational for every citizen of the world. Who are 6 couples? Marie and Pierre Curie in 1903. I did say Marie Curie received the Nobel Prize in physics in 1903 along with her husband Pierre Curie and Henry Becquerel. One husband and wife, Marie and Pierre Curie. Marie Curie and Pierre Curie's daughter, Irene Joliot Curie and Frederic Joliot Curie, received the Nobel Prize in 1935 in chemistry for transmutation of the element. Gertie Cori and Carl Cori. In 1947, both received medicine for physiology or medicine. Gunnar and Alva Miller. Gunnar Miller received the Nobel Prize for economics in 1974 and peace in 1982. Maybrit Moser and Edward Moser received the Nobel Prize in medicine 2014. Abhijit Banerjee, an Indian fellow, along with his wife Esther Duflo, received the Nobel Prize in Economics. These are six couple. God made so beautiful couple that they both contributed a lot in the field of humanity. Yes, this is the lady. I will talk. I will take a few minutes to speak something or to pay my tribute to her. In the history of Nobel Prizes, Curie family is the only family who received 5 Nobel Prizes in 2 successive generations. Curie family members are unique combination of sharing the Nobel Prize between husband and wife, father and daughter, mother and daughter, father and son-in-law, and mother and son-in-law. Do you think any other family could repeat this history? Oh, I doubt. I doubt very much that 5 Nobel Prizes in 2 successive generations, it looks impossible. It is a general concept, nothing is impossible, but it looks very impossible that 5 Nobel Prizes by 2 successive generations. Marie Curie was a number of first, and only to her credit, she was the first woman ever to win a Nobel Prize, the first female professor at the University of Paris, the first woman to be endowed on her own merits in the Pantheon in the Paris, the only woman to win Nobel Prizes in 2 fields till date, I can say, and only woman to win in multiple sciences. One in physics, 1903, another in chemistry, 1911. Celebrated physicist and chemist, Marie Curie gave her life to research and discovery. Her large repertoire of work is standing as a testimony of the same. Nothing else is required to say. She made significant breakthrough in her life which have been inspirational for scientists till date. This beautiful pic, Marie and Pierre, they were having 2 daughters. I did say one, Irene with her husband Joliot. They both also received the Nobel Prize in 1935. That element may be converted into radioactive, or I did say transmutation of element. Left side, Eve Curie, younger daughter of Marie Curie, and Irene in 1908. C in 1903, she received the Nobel Prize in Physics. 1911, she received Nobel Prize in Chemistry. What a beautiful pic in 1908. How she managed, a talented lady. I think this is most inspirational lady for the entire world, and I am a great fan of that lady. Motherhood and mothering together. To grow up the daughters in this age and to work to receive the second Nobel Prize in 2011. Again, this is Curie family. Extremely left you see Madame Curie, right Pierre Curie. Below Frederic Joliot, husband of Irene Joliot Curie. Eve Dennis Curie, younger daughter I did say, which I did show in earlier slide. Her husband, Henry Richardson, also received the Nobel Prize. Not for him, but he received on the behalf of sub-organization of United Nations organization. Eve Dennis Curie, she didn't receive the Nobel Prize, but she wrote a beautiful biography on Madame Curie, I think, which is a great. We can speak this. Yeah. Again, beautiful history. What should I say in the history of Nobel Prizes? Father and son. There are 6 father-son couples who received Nobel Prizes. There were 6 husband and wife, but there are 6 father and son couple. Look the beautiful feat. William Henry Bragg, William Lawrence Bragg. Father William Henry Bragg. But when the Nobel Prize was received, Lawrence Bragg was 25 only. Father and son both received the Nobel Prize on 10 December 1915 for services in the analysis of crystal structure by means of X-ray. Wow, you could imagine the scene when both father and son, Henry and Lawrence Bragg, were there to receive the Nobel Prize, and obviously they delivered the lecture after receiving the Nobel Prize. Joseph John Thomson for the discovery of electron, 1906. In 1937, discovery of diffraction of electrons by crystal, George Paget Thomson. Niels Bohr and Age Bohr. I think everybody should be aware about this. Niels Bohr received in 1922 for atomic structure and quantum theory, and Age Bohr, his son, in 1975 for nuclear physics. Hans von Euler and Ulf von Euler-Chapin. Hans von Euler received chemistry award in 1929 for role of enzyme in fermentation. Ulf von Euler received his physiology or medicine in 1970 for his work on neurotransmitter. Aha! Arthur Kornberg and Roger D. Kornberg, again father and son. Roger D. Kornberg, son, received the Nobel Prize in Chemistry 2006 for molecular mechanism of copying genetic information. Father, Arthur Kornberg, received the Nobel Prize in 1959 for biological synthesis of DNA in the field of physiology or medicine. Karlmann G. Sigbahn and Kai-M Sigbahn. Karlmann G. Sigbahn received in 1924 in the field of spectroscopy. Kai-Man Sigbahn received in 1981 in physics for high resolution spectroscopy. Friends, these are not father and son, sometimes mistaken. This is seventh couple. I have shown you already sixth couple. There are two brothers. What a beautiful couple God has made. And God is really great. Two brothers, John Timbergen, in the field of economics. He received the Nobel Prize for econometrics. Nicholas Timbergen received the Nobel Prize in medicine in 1973 for study of animal behavior. There are six married couple, six father and son, one brother couple. Both received the Nobel Prize, John Timbergen and Nicholas Timbergen. Friends, there is no any sister couple who received the Nobel Prize. If two sisters, they are really dedicated to education, research, human benefit, or benefit of humankind, they should think there should be a sister couple to receive the Nobel Prize. There are some glimpses of Nobel Prize in chemistry between 1901 and 2024. In chemistry, 197 laureates have received the Nobel Prize. Frederic and K. Berry Sharpless. They are the only two Nobel laureates who received twice Nobel Prize. So I can say 195 individuals have received the Nobel Prize in chemistry since 1901. He is K. Berry Sharpless, received the Nobel Prize in 201 for his work on Curie catalyzed oxidation reactions, and Nobel Prize for 2022 for the development of click chemistry and bio-orthogonal chemistry. Just a minute. Okay, fine. Between 1924, out of 1042 total Nobel Prizes, 30 organizations, obviously, and 1012 individuals. Only 65 females. I have written 66 because Madame Curie received Nobel Prize 2 times. So 66 females. But individual, if I say 65 females out of 1012, yes. If you minus 30 awards piece for organization of 1042, 1012, very less percentage. It doesn't mean that female doesn't deserve. They deserve more than the males. I say if the equal opportunity is given to females, the number could be multiple than the males. I am dead sure the capacity, the power, the females. Mary Curie is the example. Irene Curie is the example. Females are not behind, but they are not provided the equal opportunity. These are some beautiful examples of Nobel Prize. 2016 Nobel Prize was awarded for molecular machine. You are looking, this is a machine. You are not looking at a car. 4 wheels are there. These are nothing but fullerenes, and in between molecules, organic molecules are connected. Just you see the IUPAC name, a great name you are looking. If I will speak, I may take your 5-7 minutes. So this is IUPAC name with a molecular machine. And this is Nobel Prize of 2016. 2000 Nobel laureate in chemistry. That is also very important. Friends, before coming to this, I should, as I did say emphatically, that Nobel Prize cannot be given to more than 3% a single time. Maximum 3% can share whatever the circumstances. No excuses there. But there is no any age limit. If you remember, there is age limit in Sir Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Awards. You cannot be SS Bhatnagar Award recipient if you have crossed 45. But you are looking the example in the field of chemistry, 2000 Nobel laureates in chemistry. One of them is John B. Goodenough, University of Texas, who received Nobel Prize at the age of 97. At the age of 97, he did receive the Nobel Prize. That's why 2000 Nobel Prize in chemistry is very important. Youngest chemistry laureate. Youngest chemistry laureate is again FREDRIC Joliot, husband of IRENE or son-in-law of Madame and Pierre Curie. Madame Curie and Pierre Curie, who received the Nobel Prize at the age of 35. Earlier, the overall youngest Nobel laureates, I think till 10 years back or 12 years back, we were telling Lawrence is the youngest because he received the Nobel Prize at the age of 25. But this remarkable record was broken, setting a new milestone in history, and that history was made by a very young girl, Malala Yousafzai. She received the Nobel Prize for Peace at the age of 17. At the age of 17, she received the Nobel Prize. So we have two examples. Malala Yousafzai received the Nobel Prize at the age of 17, but John B. Goodenough in 2019, he received at the age of 97. No age limit. Some 10 years old, if he or she performs better, he or she may receive the Nobel Prize. Some 105 years old, if the nomination is quite well and committee feels at the age of 105, कोई उम्र की सीमा नहीं है. These are some of the youngest laureate in physics. Obviously, Lawrence Bragg at the age of 25, chemistry FREDRIC Joliot at the age of 35, physiology and medicine Frederick Banting at the age of 32, literature Rudyard Kipling, he was also born in India at the age of 42, peace Malala Yousafzai 17, economics he is around 50 but unable to look here only. Oldest Nobel laureate earlier, John B. Fane, he was recipient of Nobel Prize at the age of 35. But this record was, as I did say, again broken by John B. Goodenough, Nobel Prize in Chemistry for lithium-ion battery at the age of 97. These are some oldest Nobel laureate. Anyway, female Nobel laureates. Between 1901 and 2024, I did say 1012 individual, 28 organizations have received Nobel Prize, but only 66 female. Friends, this is also very important. The person who receives the Nobel Prize he is king, not in his own eyes, but for entire world, he is not less than king. But there are many persons who nominated many times but couldn't receive. In our Gita, there is a sentence, Karmanya Vasika Ma Phaleshu Kadachan. You do your duty, never expect what is the result of that. That is truly for this slide. Now I will read, you will be shocked. Gaston Raymond was nominated 155 times in the field of physiology or medicine for Nobel Prize. Gaston Raymond, 155 times nominated for the award of physiology of medicine, but could never get. Arnold Sommerfeld, a great physicist, he was nominated 80 or 82 times. I have taken the same figure. Somewhere I read 82 or somewhere 80, but I can say 80 times. Sommerfeld, a very great physicist of German, was nominated but could not receive the Nobel Prize. A great chemist, G.N. Lewis, he was nominated 40 times, but he could not get the Nobel Prize. Many of his students, Glenn T. Seaborg, who invented a number of transuranic elements. If I say neptunium, plutonium, americium, curium, berkelium, californium, these were invented by Glenn T. Seaborg. He received a Nobel Prize, but his mentor, G.N. Lewis, could not. Lise Meitner, she was also a physicist, and she did a lot of work for atomic fission, but 45 times, in spite of nomination, 45 times, she could never get the Nobel Prize. Leo Tolstoy, 17 times he was nominated, but could not get the Nobel Prize. Mahatma Gandhi, a great man, worshipper of peace, ahimsa, was nominated 5 times, 1937, 1938, 1939, 1947, 1948. But he could not get the Nobel Prize. I have read many times. In 1948, he was also nominated, but as he was killed on 31st January, he could not be considered for Nobel Prize. Now this is a story. Again, a beautiful story, friends. There are only 2 Nobel Prizes, one in literature, another in peace, which have been given posthumously after death. Only 2 persons are there. But this is also in the statute of Nobel Prize that Nobel Prize cannot be awarded posthumously. After death, one cannot receive the Nobel Prize. If someone has been nominated and the name has been declared, suppose the name has been declared in October 25, परमात्मा से प्रार्थना है, it should never be happen. But if somebody dies between October and December, certainly he will be awarded Nobel Prize and some nominee, his or her nominee will receive. But even if after declaration, some name is there before October and he deceased between 31st January and October, he cannot be awarded the Nobel Prize. This is a great, painful history of Nobel Prize that posthumously after death, the Nobel Prize cannot be awarded. Anyway, everybody is eager for Nobel Prize. That is not 10.4 crore rupees or 5 crore or might be 3.3 crore. But the reputation, a great medal and diploma which every year is awarded, that is meaningful. You see the picture, Jean-Paul Sartre, a great literature-loving person of France. That French person was awarded Nobel Prize in 1964, but he refused. That by such an award, did not want to take sides in East and West culture. Friends, there are example, Jean-Paul Sartre, who refused, who was awarded, but he didn't receive the Nobel Prize. Lee Duc-tho, a person from Vietnam, was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, but declined because that time Vietnam war was there. You see the morality? If war is going on in my country, Vietnam, how I can accept the Nobel Prize? These are greatest of the great person, deserve more than Nobel laureates to get the salute. There are some persons who were forced to decline. They were forced to decline. Boris Pasternak in 1958, he received the Nobel Prize in literature. Rather, I should say, his name was declared. But Soviet government called the award Western conspiracy. This is a thinking we should not comment. And threatened, what threatened? That he must not go to receive the Nobel Prize. So, Boris Pasternak was forced to decline. He didn't decline like Jean-Paul Sartre and Lee Duc-tho, but he was forced to decline. These are 3 examples of Germany. Gerhard Domek in 1939 received the Physiology or Medicine Nobel Prize. Adolf Botnet in chemistry. Again, Richard Kuhn in chemistry. They were refused by Adolf Hitler design. Okay, you cannot receive the award. But that was good. They cannot get the coveted money. But they all 3 received the diploma, that is a certificate, but very dignified way, that is known as diploma and a medal. So really that was a good from the side of nature. They could get the diploma and medal. Of course, they were deprived from the coveted money. Global comparison of Nobel Prizes. Friends, this is painful, but painful for me, but it is very enjoyable for Americans and Britishers. United States, 403. Till date, they have received the Nobel Prize. United Kingdom, 138. Germany, 115. France, 76. Sweden, 34. Japan, 29. Canada, 27. Russia, 30. Switzerland, 27. This is Austria, not Austria, 25. Netherlands, 22. Australia, 12. Israel, 12. Belgium, 11. But India is having only 9 Nobel Prizes. That's why I did say, being an Indian, being a chemistry student, being a patriotic person, it is very much painful for me. World population, 7.7 billion. Population of India, instead of 1.45, I will say 1.41. 17.47% population of the total. We are Indian, but we are lagging much behind by receiving only 9 Nobel Prizes. A great salute to Indian Nobel laureates. Rabindranath Tagore, he received the Nobel Prize in 1930 for Gitanjali in the field of literature. Sir C.V. Raman, who was indigenous person, he did entire work in India only, and that's too in Calcutta. On 28 February, he discovered Raman effect. That's why on 28 February, we Indians celebrate the National Science Day to honor Sir C.V. Raman. He received the Nobel Prize in 1930. Hargovind Khorana. Of course, he was not in India. He left India long back. He received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1968. Mother Teresa, great Indian, she received the Nobel Prize in 1979 for peace. She did a lot of work in Calcutta for leprosy patients. S. Chandrasekhar, a nephew of Sir C.V. Raman, received the Nobel Prize in 1983. Amartya Sen, in economics, 1998. Venkatraman Ramakrishnan, I think his nationality is British American. He received in 2009. Kailash Satyarthi, along with Malala Yousafzai for peace, he received the Nobel Prize. In the same year, Malala Yousafzai was awarded in 2014, along with Kailash Satyarthi in 2014. Abhijit Banerjee, 2019. Friends, if I see truly Indian, Rabindranath Tagore, 1913, Sir C.V. Raman, very much indigenous physicist, 1930, Hargovind Khorana, he did work outside India. Mother Teresa, very much Indian. S. Chandrasekhar, he is also a foreigner. Amartya Sen did lot of work outside, but I will consider Indian. Venkatraman Ramakrishnan, he took his BSc from Maharaja Shivaji Rao, MS University, Vadodara. I think her parents were professors there, but he is not happy to accept him as an Indian. Very unfortunate. Kailash Satyarthi, pure, I should say Indian. Abhijit Banerjee, he did a lot of work in economics along with Esther Duflo, his wife, but outside. Rabindranath Tagore, a great pick. Sir Chandrasekhar Venkatraman, Hargovind Khorana. This is beautiful pick of Mother Teresa. This is my love, periodic table. Friends, I am excited or I am very happy. I will speak the periodic table. First, slowly, I am looking to this side now. Show that you hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc, gallium, germanium, arsenic, selenium, bromine, krypton, rubidium, strontium, yttrium, zirconium, niobium, molybdenum, technetium, ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, silver, cadmium, indium, thallium, thallium, lead, bismuth, polonium, astatine, radon, francium, radium, bacterium, thorium, protactinium, uranium, neptunium, plutonium, americium, curium, berkelium, astatine, formium, manganese, nobelium, lawrencium, rutherfordium, jubidium, seaborgium, borium, hesium, meterium, terbium, bronzanium, copernicium, nihonium, flerovium, boscovium, livermorium, tennessinogenes. Now I will flow into them. Hydrogen, lithium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, calcium, scandium, vanadium, copper, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc, gallium, germanium, arsenic, selenium, bromine, krypton, rubidium, strontium, yttrium, zirconium, niobium, molybdenum, technetium, ruthenium, rhodium, palladium, silver, cadmium, Terbium, union, antimony, terbium, iodine, xenon, see the barrel, vessel, see the pressure, need ice, Europe, gallium, terbium, dispersive, hall, terbium, after terbium, rhenium, also, gold market, helium, lead, bismuth, polyester, fancy radioactive, protecting union, and plutonium, secure Berkeley master for Nobel laureates, Rutherfordium, dubnium, seaborgium, borium, hexametarium, terbium, rhodium, copper, nickel, flareum, Moscow, level, tertiary, organic, so on. This is my tribute to my beloved periodic table. Friends, I did work for 28 years in Hemchandracharya, North Gujarat University, Patan, Gujarat. That is the historical capital of Gujarat. This is famous Rani Ki Vav, the Queen Stepwell. This is famous Patola sari that is only weaved in Patan, Gujarat. Friends, thanks to all, especially to those who love chemistry more than their love. I hope you will like this video and share this video, and I need your comment where I am wrong. I would be really happy to receive your comments. If you make me wrong on some point, otherwise if you are really happy, you can comment. You are most welcome. Thank you so much.